I hope this message finds you fit and fine. My name is Shashank and I welcome you all to Edukemy. Today we are discussing equality. Before we start, a simple question. How many of you believe that you know equality? Equality as a value, what are its different facets, different ways, how it evolved, what are its levels? How many think that you know? Just put a thought in your mind. That is all that is required. Done. Let's start. So this is going to be the content of this short session. First, I'm going to talk about marks weightage of equality as a unit in your PSIR optional. Then I'm going to show you some of the questions which are asked from this section. Then I'm going to start with idea of equality, foundational equality and distributive equality as two levels. So this is the trend. Just take a look over equality. In 2020, a 15 marker question was asked. No question in 2019, and in 2010, 2018, a 10 marker question was asked. But I must tell you that it is not like that you gather your understanding of equality in PSIR optional in this unit. Actually, equality as a concept is embedded in many units. For example, whenever you read Western political thought, in many instances, you will find equality. Why? Why we are so concerned about equality, that equality as an idea is found in many units, whether we talk about democracy, whether we talk about ideas of Aristotle, whether we talk about Plato. Question over equality is spread everywhere. Why is it so important? So think over it. We are going to come over this discussion. These are the questions which are asked. Just take a look. That is all it's required as of now. You can take a screenshot also. Equality means fair treatment rather than equal treatment. Comment. It means evaluator wants to know your understanding. Comment on affirmative action. 10 marker. Comment on Aristotle's concept of equality. Liberty is a precondition to equality. Explicate the relationship between equality and liberty. Difference between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome. One of the favorite questions. Because a separate question has been asked on equality of opportunity. Why is affirmative action important in provisions of equality of opportunity? Comment on women have always been men's dependent, if not his slave. The two sexes have never shared the word equal, means Simon de Beauvoir. Means although you also read about this in feminism, right? Now, one suggestion before we start. You develop your understanding through discussions which are done in class. You gather your understanding, you revise through your notes, but you should keep your eyes and ears open, because in modern times you will find various debates along the concept of equality, and gathering specific points, examples from these debates and using them in the answer will directly improve the legitimacy of our answer. And that is what our goal is. Means we have to gather maximum marks in PSIR option, right? For example, there's a good article on the Wire magazine. You just search equality and the Wire, then you will find this article where they're talking about how affirmative action was regarded as a panacea, but it is not. It is more of a political seduction. So whenever you write about affirmative action, you can use these points. There's an interesting point that actually we think that affirmative action is a distributive justice, but what we are doing is a remedial justice. Ages of misconduct which was done towards certain sections is being paid back through these affirmative actions. But how rational is that? Are we giving the benefit on the ground? So the point is, you should keep on updating your views. Means views are same, but updating word means you should just gather the standard templates from these articles. Okay, so you should not read it like a chapter. Moreover, it should be like you are getting understanding on a particular pillar, which is going to help you not just in exam, even after that. Okay, your balanced outlook is required. Now the point is, what is equality? Heck yeah, equality. The word is equal. But whenever we talk about equality, is it about treating everyone equal? Is treating everyone equal is a equality? Although famous philosopher, political thinker, Aristotle said it is the greatest inequality to try to make unequal things equal. Means sometimes we have to bring equality, and many times we have to bring equality by actually identifying the inequalities and treating unequals as unequals and try to bring equality after that. Because when we are ready to recognize, yes, there is inequality, then only we can bring equality. If we start treating everyone as equal, then it means we are closing our eyes over the deep inequalities which are present. So in which spheres we should actually treat people equal, no matter what, and in which spheres we should look at the deep inequalities between people and then decide our action. So the point of this discussion is equality is not a generic concept. There are some specificities involved. It means we should know in which area we are talking about equality, and also important how we are going to deliver equality, in which area and how. These are also important, right? Now, actually, why equality? Why we talk about equality? Just, think of a state where we don't talk about equality. Just remove equality as a concept from society. How society would be? आप सोचिए कि आप इक्वालिटी को मानते ही नहीं, कोई भी इक्वालिटी को नहीं मानता किसी भी तरीके से. How our society will be? Do you think that would be a justified society? No, there will be deep injustices then. क्योंकि equal नहीं माना जा रहा. So it may be possible that services which government gives to you in impartial manner, now government will not give in impartial manner, because now we are postulating, we are doing this hypothesis that since we have removed this value of equality, then government will become partial. And if government becomes partial, then what do you think is going to happen? Inequalities will eventually increase. And what is going to happen then? This will lead to instability, because no one wants to live in a society where there is injustice. Revolution will happen, and that is why this red color, right? So we need equality to avert revolution, to bring harmony, to bring stability in state. That is why we need equality. When it comes to idea of equality, we can talk about this at two levels. One is foundational equality and then distributive equality. Let's talk about foundational equality. The word itself suggests foundation. Means when we talk about equality as a value, what is the foundation of that? हम बात क्यों करते हैं इसकी, हम विश्वास क्यों करते हैं इस बात पर कि yes, everyone is equal. We should treat every human as equal. Why we talk about this? What are the logic behind it? What are the foundation of this idea? Although this idea has provided stability, progress, but what is the foundation? What is the ground on which demand of equality be founded? So one idea is that religion advocates everyone to be children of God. हम सभी एक ही God के बच्चे हैं. If we all are children of one God, it means we are equal. So in earlier times, the equality as a value was pushed by this logic. Since we all are children of one God, and no parent discriminate between their children, and especially I'm talking about God, okay, especially God. So it means yes, there is this logic that we all are equal. But this particular logic, this particular foundation of equality could not transcend to all times. In modern times, there were questions on this. कि logical नहीं लग रही बात. There were questions against this, especially from liberals. So what were the other questions? So within foundation equality, the other question was, कि you say that we are children of one God. We are all children of this nature. And that is why we all are equal. But if we look at nature, nature itself resembles inequality. There are some areas which are deficient in resources, don't have drinking water, vegetation, and there are areas where this prosperity in terms of natural resources. So nature itself shows inequality. Then how can we say that we can learn equality from nature? No, you cannot learn equality from nature. Just look at inequalities, right? So that is where it is said that survival of the fittest is the rule of the nature. This is the rule. In nature, if we are looking at nature, just look. In nature, who survives? The fittest survive. Right? So actually, these 2 points are giving the contradiction of this particular point. Right? And that is why we brought this point, that liberals wants to expand their freedom at the cost of human dignity. That is when liberals said, okay, we believe in equality, we believe in individual freedom, but the reason is we all are humans and humans deserve dignity. And this is inviolable, means it cannot be taken away. So rather than looking at the concept of religion and nature, just look at human. Let's give equality because we are human. And why liberals were giving that? Because the concept that we should learn equality from nature was defeated. Okay? So equality is often grounded on the basis of common humanity, because we all are human. All are human. That is why this can be the foundation of equality. And the major tradition under this is Kantian tradition, given by Immanuel Kant. Whenever you talk about human dignity, you talk about Immanuel Kant. In modern times, who actually pushed the idea of equality in terms of wider acceptance, then credit should be given to Immanuel Kant. Okay? Because he was saying, because we are all are human, common humanity. That is why human dignity is inviolable. You cannot take away. So that was the foundational aspect of equality. Means the logic for religion, then logic which was later accepted in modern times, was common humanity. Then when we talk about distributive equality, means actually when we talk about equality, तो दिया कैसे जाएगा equality? How we are going to ensure equality in society? And who is going to responsible to ensure equality? Okay, state is going to be responsible. Okay, but how to distribute resources and opportunity to achieve equality? Resources को opportunities को कैसे देंगे कि आए? तो ऐसे में we should remember the ideas of Plato and Aristotle, because these ideas were actually contradictory to the distributive equality which we believe in right now. Take example of Plato. So Plato was giving this idea of myths of metal. He was saying that when we look at humans, their souls can be categorized into three types. One is soul of gold. Means those people who have soul of gold, they are there to rule. Then there are people with a soul of silver. They should be, they are perfect for guardian class, soldiers. Then there are people of soul of bronze. They should be producer class, who will work in production. So the kind of services and the kind of responsibilities entitled to these people should be based on their soul. So Plato was saying, actually, by nature, people are unequal. So if by nature people are unequal, then how can we treat them equal? So that is why this myth of metal reduces any scope of equality. Although this Plato's myth of metal was once said that it was a noble myth. Why noble myth? Some myths are used in order to deliver something worthwhile. In times of Plato, when you read Plato's concept of justice, we are not going to discuss the concept of justice here, but I want to bring that perspective here so that you can understand this point in a better manner. So Plato was saying justice in a society will prevail only when it is a functional justice, functional specialization. It means person who is fit for a particular job is put in that particular position. then only that person will be able to contribute in society in a better manner, and other person is at that point where he deserves or she deserves to be, then that person will be able to contribute better. And that is how the whole contribution in society would work, in this way that whole society will progress. And that is why he was talking about meritocratic system, and his in his education, theory of education, he was talking about these examinations at various levels. So the point is, he was talking about that people are not equal by nature. They are different. Myths of metal. Soul is different. One is gold, silver, bronze. Right? So this is one contradiction. Then Aristotle, he actually justified the system of slavery. Because when we talk about ancient time, we're talking about ancient Athens, Plato, and his disciple Aristotle. So Aristotle said slavery is actually good for both master and slave. So they are naturally unequal. Masters are masters because they have some attributes. Slaves are slaves because they have some attributes. And both positions are necessary for society. So are you looking at some distributive justice in these both thinkers? The kind of distributive justice we believe in now? No. There's a stark difference. And my advice is, you should not outrightly criticize these thinkers. Okay यार, ये कैसी बात कर रहे हैं, देखो कह रहे हैं कि कुछ स्लेव्स तो स्लेव्स बनने के लिए पैदा हुए हैं नेचर से, देखो कुछ मास्टर्स हैं वो मास्टर्स बनने के लिए पैदा हुए हैं. How bad is Aristotle? No. Aristotle is saying so because he was living in a different time. His experience was different. Social realities were different. You are born in a different time. That is why you are having these ideas. Okay, slavery is wrong. Although I also believe that slavery is wrong. One human subjugating another human is wrong in every time, whether it's ancient, medieval, and modern. But my point is, your criticism of one particular thinker on a particular view should not restrict your understanding of why the thinker was saying that and what are the other ideas. Okay? Now, distributive equality. इसी के आगे हम बात करते हैं. These were the contradictions. Now what happened? As per liberals, they say equality of opportunity should be there. Means we should bring a common ground for the people. Opportunity should be given, not outcome. Now it is up to the people. If they want to utilize this opportunity, then they can excel in life. If they don't want to, utilize this opportunity, then it is up to them. That is what liberal view. But when we talk about Amartya Sen, this is one step ahead. You can say +1. यहाँ पे one step आगे चले गए. Social liberal, Amartya Sen, he says that equality of opportunity, just giving equality of opportunity is not sufficient. We have to give capacity building. We have to focus on capacity building. Means if you are saying that government is providing equality of opportunity in terms of public employment, same exam for everyone. But Amartya Sen is saying there may be some people who are not having that kind of services on ground when it comes to education, when it comes to livelihood. So how can these people who are struggling for basic livelihood, basic education, how they can compete in these exams even if they are given equality of opportunity? Means we need to take some capacity building measures, and that is when the government introduced these schemes like a coaching scheme for particular sections, right? Special aids, books are given, uniforms are given for particular section of students. So that is called capacity building, because whenever we actually bring capacity building into place, then only we can have distributive justice. That is the idea of Amartya Sen. And now when it comes to socialists, so they have come one step ahead. +1. Socialist, they say कि equality of opportunity, capacity building, ये सब तो बचकानी बात है. Real thing is create equality artificially. Look at what Karl Marx is saying. Bring revolutions. There will be a spontaneous revolution. Not bring revolution, spontaneous revolution. That was an idea of Karl Marx. At one time, discrimination will be at such a large extent that there will be two classes, capitalists and workers. Capitalists, the industrialists will keep on gaining money, and there will be workers who will not be having enough to sustain. They will be just struggling. because population is such that capitalists will be having choice whether to keep them on job or remove them, and that is why they will work as a slave actually. And considering the difference, the inequalities, haves and have not, then there will be a revolution. Through this revolution, finally will create artificial equality. Remove the concept of private property. अब किसी के पास private property नहीं होगी, सब common property होगी, and it will be distributive justice will be done after that, right? So this is a utopia, means ऐसी बात जो actually reality से बहुत दूर है, but है बड़ी अच्छी बात, सुनने में बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, सब बराबर, right? But there are some negatives also. But the point is, distributive equality में socialists कहते हैं artificial equality. But this could not be realized. Okay, this was a utopia. So I hope with this discussion you got some idea about the unit equality. Okay, so we are going to meet again in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Shashank Tyagi signing off.